Okay, dear colleagues, I think we will start our mini training for today. That is the continuation of our first meeting that we had on EPACE on Friday. Let me ask, is there anybody who does not understand Russian here? Anyone who does know Russian here?
Who does not understand English?
Because we said it will be English because we have, of course, we were still planning to have Mr. Lee. Yes, and who is on the KK?
Hey, it's Karina.
Okay, Miss Karina. Okay, wonderful. All right. Yes, Miss Karina, thank you very much. Yes, we have Mrs. Comfort, so we'll run this session in English, so if you don't mind. And this session will be recorded, so please be aware that it is recorded. So we want to later on to share this session with everybody else who was not able to join or who would still love to join this project called EPace. And I will share the screen with you right now. Okay, this is my modern screen sharing. Here we go. Screen sharing. Here we go. That's our agenda for today. And I called our meeting EPace with Mr. Lee. This is Helen, Nepomnyaschaya, Mrs. Natalie, Mr. Vladimir, and Mrs. So first I'll make a little introduction. Then if Mr. Lee doesn't show up, okay, we have more people joining us here. If Mr. Lee doesn't show up, we'll turn it over to Mrs. Helen Nepomnyaschaya. Mrs. Helen has been doing EPace for almost a year, and she was the first one to actually be, Mrs. Helen, sorry for using this name, the guinea pig for the project, and to start the ball rolling, and to operate as an administrator and as a supervisor. So this way she will be able to share with you all the information from both parties. And also we might, and I might share as a student, but I think you will be able to cover lots of things with Mrs. Helen. And then we'll just have questions and answers. That's why Mr. Vladimir, Mrs. Natalie, myself, and whoever else has expertise will join and share further. And then we'll make a few announcements. I'd love to finish everything in 50 minutes if possible. So that's why let's start the ball rolling. So one more time, by way of an introduction. So School of Tomorrow has been developing EPaces alongside with paperback paces for a number of years. The process hasn't been as dynamic as we wish it could have been, but nevertheless, that's where we are and that's what we have. I will remind you that at the moment, we are allowed and we are offered for beta testing paces in word building levels 2 through 9, in science levels 4 through 5, and social studies levels 4 through 6. So this way we have a fairly good chunk of paces and tests that are available now, and School of Tomorrow, I would say, graciously is allowing us to do it for free. So we could get a taste of it, could understand how we can use it. And as I mentioned in our previous session, the beauty of EPace that was developed, that it follows all the structure of a paperback pace. It means that you will be very familiar with what is happening. Then it allows certain control on the part of the supervisor. I will say that as I was doing EPace with my small child, his name is Leo, and whom we call Simba, he is very excited about doing paces online. And so another good part of the pace of the EPace that you can either do the whole pace in an online format, or you can do everything like a paperback pace and only test can be done as a virtual online test. That's another good thing about the tests. So I believe that in the nearest future, when I say nearest future, we are talking like maybe a projection of 1 to 3 years. Okay, all the PACEs will be gradually introduced by the schools tomorrow. As soon as they're ready, new PACEs will be offered for beta testing. And I believe once we give proper feedback and once they get everything right with the ones that are available already, the other ones will be done, I hope and pray, on a faster track. Okay, with this being said, as an introduction, and with Mr. Lee still not being here, I would love to give the floor to Mrs. Helen Nepomnyaschaya, our main tester of the EPACE. And Mrs. Helen, if you could share, of course, the screen, and if you could just run us administrator and as a supervisor, so we could get a good understanding. Over to you.
Helen, could you just show from the point of supervisor only?
Yeah, I forgot my. So this is only supervisor, Ms. Natalie. I'm not showing from administrators because you said me that you did already.
Yeah.
So as soon as you're opening your account as the supervisor of the EPaces, so this is the window which you will see with a lot of information here. On that level, I see my EPaces. So these are all the PACEs which are done by my students either not long ago or they're doing them right now. So like this, I can access to their PACEs very quickly. Also, every, not only the supervisor, but also the students has access to the Bible, which they can use while they're doing the PACEs. And they have access to the dictionary, where they can find all the words which they need for the working with their PACEs here. So in the dictionary, there is all the information which you need to see. Also, on the other side, we have notifications. So it means everything what the students are doing, the information will come quickly to you and you will see it immediately. No matter what is it. Is it goals? Is it test, checkup, or just something was done and needs correction?
Ой, Господи, все одно на другое. Беда.
Also, sorry.
That's more, okay.
Это у меня московская конференция по электронным пейсам, которая сейчас идет, а я вот вами должна занимаюсь, а вот об этом я не знала.
Пожалуйста, свой звук, если вы ведете другие разговоры.
Я буду с вами заниматься и что-то там пытаться услышать. Маловероятно, что получится.
Just a moment.
Так, ребята, если это выбросить нас, заходим еще раз. Так, Юля готовится пока. Андрей, дочитывай, пожалуйста.
I don't know who is, I guess, yeah, that's it.
Екатеринбург.
Okay, we're done.
Hard working. We just finished and they're still working. Okay, and also you see on the window here, I see all the goals which they are setting. So every day the students can set their goals. And pay attention that the goals here are not by pages, because the students trying to find always where are the numbers of the pages which I need to set as the goal, as they used into the regular PACEs. And here the pages are divided by sections. So mostly every section has 3 parts, and then checkup, then self-test and test. If it's just setting goals, they will be completely blank. If the goal will not be completed during the time, you will also understand by see it in red. So as I see, the student, Sanya, didn't finish her goal yesterday. So that's why it's still red. And she can repeat that goal every next day. So it doesn't say that if you set it on Monday, you cannot repeat it on Tuesday or Wednesday. And as soon as the students finish their goals, their section becomes green. Also remind the students that just to do the section and score once, and if they will still have their mistakes, it doesn't mean that the goal is finished. So until it will be 100% changed into the correct one and there will be no mistakes, only at that time the goal will be finished. So like yesterday we did with one of the students, he was telling that I finished goal, but there were still mistakes. And until he correct all the mistakes there, the goal was not finished and the teacher didn't see that it's green. How to see what the student did. So you can click on the goals to anything, no matter, to any section. And you see here, student attempts. If you will look, it will have two different variants. So like this, you can see how much time he spent the first time, so 20 minutes, how much time he spent on correcting the first time the mistakes, and how much time he spent for the third time. And here, where is it? It doesn't show. By question, so you can see it by question, if it was right or wrong from the very beginning. So to make it like this, it's not understandable what exactly was the mistake. And as you see here near his name, you will see review attempt. You can click and the program will show you completely the page which was done and where are the mistakes. Sorry, it's downloading.
Morning.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lee. So we're already in the afternoon, mostly in the evening. So you see the same pages as the student, and they every question has the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when the student scored, if it's completely correct, it will be green.
That is
if
correct.
It's yellow, so it's something not correct and still needs correction. If it will be red, so it's completely wrong. And like this, the student doesn't need to look through the whole page. So he can click exactly on the number and see the mistakes there.
That is correct.
Here, this is the first time when I did it. This is the time when the student did its own sentences and the supervisor need to check them. So, and as soon as the supervisor is getting it, so you can check by yourself and write the comments for your student. And immediately the student will get the information that the teacher did some of the correction and he needs to do something. And the process is starting absolutely the same. Until he will correct till the 100%, the goal will not be counted. So how can you check, no matter if it's self-test or just the pace, how you can check if it's correct and not, and how to make the points? Because sometimes you think that something can be counted more than the program was counted. So you are clicking on make comments or override the points. And you see exactly.
That means you can, you can, this is where you are, the cursor is where you make the comment. Scroll down a little bit, scroll down a little bit, you will have a place that you give points.
So, and when I scored it for the first time, I wrote him here exactly the comments, what he needs to correct, where there were mistakes. And I gave him the points from the first, it's not 4 because not everything was correct. And then I put on the save, and that information went completely to the student. And he again, sorry.
It will, once you've completed, it will go to the student, but the student may not have a notification and, you know, it will open. So you may go in there and say, you may send him a message.
Yeah, that's what we are doing.
Yeah.
So he is
Send
writing
him a
me
message.
that he has some pages to score. And as soon as I'm done, I'm writing. So I finish, so you can open and see their mistakes and correct whatever is written. So
Yeah.
whatever you see with the blue and I, so this is either for reading or
Yes.
for supervisor's information. So it means it's either just to read or the supervisor needs to score it.
The I is always in just information reading. It is not doesn't have any questions, so it does not require supervisor to score.
Mm.
The I will never turn into green.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's-
if we are speaking not just for the goals doing, but for the self-test and test. So this is the last section of the PACE. And when the student is opening, I don't think so I can, but not like a student. Okay, any EPACE. So when the students are setting the goals as their self-test or EPACE test, it's downloading too long. So today, Wordbuilding is not working very well. So it's downloading too long.
That's all. That's
As a matter of fact, Mrs. Helen, it looks like everything is really slow moving. Okay, and okay, Mr. Lee, thank you very much for joining us or giving your.
oh well, thank you for that. I can. Yeah,
We know that it's very early, so let's do it this way. Let Miss Helen and with your assistance finish the supervisor's overview of the program. Then I'll turn it over to you, and then you'll say what you were prepared to say. In the
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, we definitely want to start
here.
with you, but so just for the sake of time. Okay, Mrs. Helen, keep going.
So open the PACE, here see that section about which we were talking. So, this one. So sections. So these are the goals, how they can set. Also, second section and third section. And after that, there is the section with the test and test.
Okay.
So
Can I stop when last time I'm just want to make sure last time when I talk about section, it's not talk about section 1, 2, 3 and test. You know, each section there's subsection.
Yeah.
And when I recommend the staff to help the student to set their goals, which is it's a subsection like 1.1, 1.2. Students should not be required to do whole section 1. It should be, you know, as a section 1.1 or 1.2. That is what I'm referring to one section. Is that help?
Yeah, so that's what usually the students are doing, but some of them are too hardworking and they like to set like the whole section for the one day, second section for the second day, and then just checkups for. So there are some. As soon as we're coming to the self-test, so right now you see it from the point of the supervisor, but the students will have here one more line, which will be written, require the approval from the supervisor. And it will be here a flag on which they need to click, and the supervisor will get a notification, like I have here, for example, on the top, that the student has completed, here, student request for Wordbuilding 87 activity self-test.
Yes.
As soon as you see it, you are clicking on it and approve the self-test or test of the student. And before they will start to do the self-test or test, I exactly from my already experience, make a small instruction to them. So dear students, before you are starting to do that section, check the sound with their microphone that you will hear the sound as it's supposed to be. And I'm making them to do it as loud as possible that I will also hear it, because sometimes they're thinking that it's okay And when they're starting the test, so nothing can be returned back. So they can click it and hear the sound of their, the sound, how it will be pronounced during the self-test. And then you are telling that there are some rules. As soon as they are opening the self-test, start self-test. So suggest the students to read the rules they will start to do that section. That the test will be completely, immediately closed as they will try to do something back or check any other resources. So it means as soon as they will click out of the window of the self-test or EPace test, their window will be closed and the result will be sent to the supervisor. And the only way out is just to begin the pace from the beginning. So they cannot switch to any other tab or browser. They cannot make the window smaller or click anywhere outside of this window. As soon as they understood all the rules, they can start to do. The main thing, what I want to say, that the program mostly is for the computers and tablets. We tried with our students to do it on their phone. It's possible, but it's too complicated and it's too difficult because the windows are flying always.
Yes.
She's opening the page where she needs to write, then she's opening the dictionary disappear, page is disappearing, completely the browser is closed. So I'm not suggesting to do it on the phone. So we tried 2 or 3 times, so it's not working. It's either computer or the tablet. And then they see the self-test and test completely as it is in the pace. So they're hearing for the word. And then they are starting to type it. And the same, after they finish their work, they have the same meanings like in the paces. So they are matching them, whatever it's supposed to be. The why thing as it's supposed to be. Then next, if it will work, hopefully, doing the second part. And as soon as everything is done, they're clicking to score.
Miss,
And yes,
we speak up a little bit. For some reason, it's not.
Лена, тебе стало плохо слышно.
okay. So,
Lena, we don't hear you.
do you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are doing in the self-test and test completely as it's on the paper variant. As soon as everything is done, the main thing which is more convenient for the teachers is we don't need to score. The student will click to the score button and the computer will score the test and self-test by itself. When doing self-test, they can do the same corrections as in the regular section of the PACE. In the PACE test, no. The score is going exactly to the teacher. And when it's done, the teacher is getting the result. Let me show you. It's look like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the notification that the student completed PACE test, and I can review to see the mistakes, and I can schedule even the student review. So it's already scored, so that's why here is everything fine. So I can see when it was done, when it started, how many minutes she or he spent to take that test, and what is the score. Again, the score can be not final if you think that you can add or you can subtract some points from the test. For example, having exactly my student, I know that they have problems with the typing on the computers. And I know that they know that worked very well because I tested them with the self-test and before the test, and they can accidentally press on one extra button. So it's happening, but it's happening very rare. So the last time when we started to do it, so everything is going as it's supposed to be, and their scores are very good. But at the beginning, when they just started to do the typing things, it was a little bit difficult for them. And as soon as I saw all the mistakes and answers of the students, that's what we did today for the first time with the child. Let me see. Here. I see the button Save and Schedule Student Review. So when I press on that button, I can allow the student the next day or maybe the same day, but at the appropriate time to see the mistakes of that PACE test. So you are choosing the person to whom you want to send that notification, and you are choosing the time when you allow the person to open that test and to see. And you are
do we really allow them to see the PACE test?
Yes, but it's not for every time, so it's just for a limit of time. We allow them so that they can see their mistakes and close it.
Because as I know, according to the procedure manual, we do not allow, we are just making the conference, but we do not show the finished test.
Well,
So here,
with this EPace, you can make it to show it so the student know what they missed. And so that will give you a chance instead of just telling the student they got a 95%, like for instance, in this PACE, I think it's 98.5.
yeah.
So, you know, if you can, we try to provide it where that you can, the supervisor and this can have a conference and with the students to go over what did he miss? Did he just miss a spelling word, or did he miss the whole question? So you can set that time as a window as 15 minutes. You know, after that 15 minutes, the student would not have access to the test. Now, the student always can have access to the PACE. Even if he completed, he can go back to the PACE and look at.
Does it mean that he can do the PACE test again?
No, can't.
No.
It's complete.
No.
No.
And how to make sure while PACE test, the student is not looking into his PACE?
Helen, I guess you missed. If a student that want to look somewhere else other than working on his test, it will automatically score and his test. That means he's completed his test.
But if, for example, he writes the words he has to remember on the paper somewhere and puts next to his computer.
Okay, this is what we are doing with our distant education. So when we are starting to do the test, the student with the camera shows that his table is completely clean. There's no PACE. So they're showing, Miss, I have the PACE. Look, I'm putting it like, I don't know, to another corner of their flat or to another room, no matter. So you are making sure that the student shows that he has nothing. We know that some of the students need the paper. When they're hearing the words, they're first writing on the paper and then only typing on the computers. There are some students like this. So again, they're showing, Miss, I have paper, so it's white. Do you see? So there's nothing there. And then
good idea.
And then when he's doing the test, you're asking him to switch on the video that you can see his face. As soon as he's moving left, right, so I'm telling, do you know you're moving left, right? If you will not return your face back, I will count that your PACE is failed. Sorry. So, or he needs to prove me why he's turning. Because I have the girl doing the test on the computer, but she's making the video with the phone. So I see her through the phone, but she's doing the test on the computer. So she turned around and showed me. So, ma'am, this is the computer and this is the phone. That's how you see me. So every time you need to be sure. But I can say you, our students are so creative. They are so creative.
They're smart.
So you cannot predict everything what they can do. So they can write wherever. I don't know. So some of them happening. But in general, we are trying to trust them.
Yes.
So especially you check their checkups before, no matter that they are doing in the EPACE, we always meet with the students and they're answering the checkups orally with the definitions, because what I don't like in the EPACE, sorry to Mr. Lee, it's
that's
the
okay.
checkups.
Let me know. So see if I can improve it.
The checkups are too easy for the students, especially on the higher level. For them to write 3 times the word, it's too easy.
Okay.
For me, it would be better if it will be the same like in the self-test, that they can practice their hearing already from the checkups. Like this, it will be better for them.
Right.
Put into some, give me some feedback on that, what you think, and I'll evaluate. I'd like that. I want feedback.
Yeah, for us it's more important because we are not native speakers. So that is why for us, just an extra listening and spelling, like typing, it would be more productive.
Yeah.
Okay.
More productive.
On
also,
typing?
Okay.
On listening.
On
Typing
listening and typing, the same way as in self-test.
This is Helen, this is Natalie. So if you can just hold back your feedback until maybe you can put it down in writing, because now it's not exactly the session about feedback.
Yeah. Okay. I just okay. I think in general, we gave all the information which is needed for the beginning, just for the teachers to start working with an EPACE. So, Helen, did you want to add something else?
Yeah, I didn't show one button. This is EPACE progress. So you can see not only the goals which are done by the students, but you also can see the EPACE progress. If you look at the person, for example, Huang Chun, you can see which paces he did and how many percent. So for it now, you can see that he's doing 97 and everything what is green. So this is done. So it means I have only sections left for him to finish the test. So like only that one. So
Miss Allen, go back to that.
Yeah.
Go back to that one. I'd like to, if you don't mind.
It's okay.
Go ahead and use your cursor, cover the first one of the blue. That will tell you what that is if you, on that little pencil, that is a checkups 3, not complete. Now moving to the next one, it'll be a self-test, the blue one, the second blue one. And you guys, you can see a self-test, not complete. And the last one will be a test. Supervisor can see which section that the students not completed, or the supervisor can move any of the green and see what section they complete as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, Mrs. Helen, thank you very much. I believe, and Ms. Tully, thank you for just really directing the conversation and the presentation, because actually it works much better when it is a dialogue and not just one person talking. So thank you very much. That was awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Mr. Lee, one of the main producers and developers of the EPACE. He is actually in charge of EPACE. And we specifically wanted him to be, Mr. Lee, we wanted you to be a part of this meeting. Right now, for your record, there are 36 people in this session, including you. 36 people. And as I mentioned, School of Tomorrow kindly allowed all of us to participate in the beta testing of the curriculum that is already available, Wordbuilding, Social Studies and Science, which I mentioned in the beginning, a few levels. You can see what is available, okay, through this program. And Mr. Lee, just tell us a few words, like what is happening, like how you would like to see it. And I will tell you that all the people that are here, we asked every school that wants to be a part of the experimental beta testing to sign an application. And so we received those applications. And so these are all people representing about 10 plus schools here, okay, in this meeting. And so please give us some, I would say it's almost instructions and some information how you would like us to proceed with the beta test. Over to you.
I think we have to touch a little bit science or social studies because there is something which differs from the word building.
Oh, okay, isn't that less? Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Lee.
All right. First, let me tell you, this is an honor for me to that you asked me to join you guys, and it is exciting things for me as well, and God has given me an opportunity to do that. All right. Well, Miss Helen, you did an outstanding job. And so of showing, about how the self-test and all that and the test and the review, great job. And so let me first saying that we have a team right now working on exactly the what we call the instructional video that we are working on and we'll be putting onto the program. So when any students, any school, they will have the instructional about the what I call is the trail of the EPACE. So we're working on that with an AV team. So then the next things I want to talk about, let me jump to the Miss Allen about the phone situation. Definitely, we would not recommend at all for the phone to, even if the students, especially the students, no phone at all. And then on this test, for the other lady, one of the staff was asking, I would recommend that be easier if the school has a tablet and just give the tablets to the student and take the test on the testing table like they doing on a paper. And that way you don't even have to, at the testing table or somewhere. Right now, with these circumstances that you are doing, classroom, and just have the students to move to the dining table or where that's by isolated. And I would do that. That will eliminate students to have access anything other than taking the test. Okay. For right now, since last week, our development team has very diligently working on the password situation, and I'm still working on it. I'm working with 2 different teams, and to make sure that doesn't happen again, because this is just it was working fine until sometime last week. School from South Africa say, we're not getting passwords, and your student not getting password, it begins to problem. Hey, we have a problem.
We have
and
the same
just
problem.
want to let you know. And the last few days, I was on the phone with different people and say, we have a problem. Help us to solve it. Now, the development team on the development server, they said it's working fine. So it's with what we call the live server is not working. So that's a lot of questions. So be patient with us, with the student, and I was for some of the like Mrs. Natalie, I was able to ask the development team to generate a password for that temporary. So when I get it, I test it, and I want to make sure it works. And then I changed the password to God is good at 2020. And that's what I make sure that work before I pass to you, Mrs. Nally. Okay. And now this morning I saw an email talk about one of your students not working. And let me check it after our conversation, and I'll email you back, because yesterday I checked it and it worked. Yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, I want to answer Mrs. Natalie about that's the difference between the word building and the social studies and science. The word building is the first subject we put on or digitize it. So there were a lot of things that we didn't know. And so after we put it on, and then we began to establish some guidelines for our development team. And of course, there are some difference between word building and social studies and science, because there are a lot of reading in social studies and science. And so we may go back and review the word building. We will make some changes. I don't know to what extent, but we are planning to go back to word building and make some improvement on it. Now, the only thing is, in order to make some improvement, as long as we are not mess up the foundation structure, then it's fine. If we do anything else, like for instance, as minor is adding a question or delete a question, then we may have to wipe out the student's record, and which is we do not want. So that's one of the things that we want you right now as a beta testing, that you want to keep all your students' score on a database, on Excel, or somewhere else. So if don't just say I will leave every score onto the EPace system, and if you're using the SMS, put it on the SMS so you have a record of the student's test and record it. Okay. So, but we have made some improvement on social studies and science. And if it sees that something is good, we continue to do that, and we continue to see we can follow the social studies and science to make improvement onto the word building.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Lee, very much. Yeah, that's perfect. That's very good information. Okay, I promised to finish our session possibly 50 minutes. Actually, 50 minutes are over, but we are still in the questions and Q&A session, questions and answers. So what
Go ahead.
Yeah, what I was asking in the chat, maybe you didn't pick it up, but I asked everybody to text your questions into this chat. I will save it later on. And we can take maybe a couple of questions now live and answer online. Then whatever we don't have time to answer, they will be on the record, and then we can answer them later offline, whether in a voice message or in a text message. And so one of them, Ms. Tatiana, yeah, can students work in paper pages and do e-tests? Mr. Lee. You can look up the chat. Actually, the question is there. Can students work in paper-backed paces and do later on the tests digitally?
Yes, of course they can. I may answer. Yes, they can.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Tatiana, they can. Yeah,
Mhm.
they can do that. That's
Yes,
the
they
beauty of it.
can, because we are doing it with our school. So most of the students, they're still working within paper paces, but the test they are doing in the EPace.
Mhm. Yes. Okay. Please. Okay. Anybody
Can
else?
I? That is great. In fact, that is when your school is in a model status and quality status, I would allow that option. Then you can assign those students just for self and test on the digital format. They still can work on the paper. So when a supervisor assigned the students on the EPace, and you were able to find the student name and then the full access, which is the entire page, and then also on this next to it, then we'll have a button that's test only.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me reiterate on what Mr. Lee has just said. I want everybody to pay attention one more time. You are on.
И английский осталось. Ничего не трогай.
Okay. If you are on a quality or model status, and this is important, on the model or quality status, which goes along the guidelines that we developed for Russia, CIS, and the Baltic states. It's not the American. Yeah, I consulted Mrs. Kirkland and I consulted Mrs. Penny Olson, so they confirmed this is true. It means that we adjusted it to meet our requirements. If you are on a status, Mr. Lee just said, you will have access for free to the tests.
Yes.
That's awesome. Guys, this is awesome. So,
yeah.
But you've been neglecting those statuses for a long time. It's time to come back to it. because this is your real opportunity to get those tests for free, digital. I guess it's awesome. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you for mentioning. Yeah. Okay. Okay, please. Okay, there was a question. All right. Okay, more questions now. Yes. Okay. Today, a student was doing a social studies test and used Google for his scripture, but the system didn't stop. If I didn't see, he would have cheated. Well, I don't know if you, I guess the question is if you go outside of the test, and maybe I can answer this question. If it is in the learning center, Mrs. Comfort, it is possible to pick it up. If a student is at home, as long as he has a phone by his side, another computer by his side, there's no way but to trust him and trust his honesty. That's it.
That's right. And that's one of the things, one of the ACE strength is we want to build trust and build character and honesty in the students. So that is a key. We do not want to treat our students as a robot, and we definitely don't trust our students. And but we got to build character, honesty, and trustworthy in them. So do what we can, but also give them an opportunity to demonstrate the character. So.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. And then the question, do you have EPaces for 2nd and 3rd grades? Miss Julie, you probably would love to specify which subjects you wanted to tackle. But Mr. Leo, anyway,
okay.
2nd and 3rd grades, is anything cooking up?
Oh, okay. Of course, the word building, we have 2nd through 9. Yep. That is complete, the whole, subject. In social study, the reason we pick 4th, 5th, and 6th level, because it is not too much involved as far as development side. It's a little bit simpler than the other. Now, we do not want to take second and third because that is too simple. We want attack in the middle, and then we're expanding it. Now, our plan, the next things that we're going to do is continue social studies and science to 7, 8, and 9.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving secrets away here, but I think it's worthwhile. So because you're out there, so we are planning to put 7, 8, and 9. We're working on that right now, our team.
Awesome, awesome.
And and then the second and third, we probably will, you know, after this, probably the 7, 8, and 9. So it will be a little bit easier probably by that time. Will be easier to develop that. Did I answer the question? So.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Okay, and I believe we'll finish with this question. If more questions are coming up, please type them into this chat. I'll save it. We'll answer them later. But the question was just perfectly right. How do we get on the beta testing? What is the next step? Okay, many of you have done the first step. You gave us an application, and Mr. Vladimir specifically, he did his homework. He sent this information to Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee, what is the next step for the schools? What
for the school?
Yeah.
Of course, the beta testing is beta testing. That's why we want you the beta testing to test it out.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, for us, if anything, like Miss Helen said, okay, doesn't work on Mrs. Nally, and give us the feedback. And I'm sure most of you have my email, and go ahead and write out, you know, your feedback. What is the positive, what is good things, and what is not so good things, you know, things that doesn't work. And I would evaluate with the team and then see what we can do. And because we working on a platform, and so there are certain things that we cannot change the platform, the structure of the system. But if I see things that, hey, this is a good thing, this is a very beneficial to our school, to our supervisor, and to our students, and we can make changes, we definitely will you know, consider. And so if any one of you don't hesitate to give me, tell me what works and what it does not work, and that way I can take a good look at them. Okay.
And Mr. Lee, I believe now that we sent you the information on every school with the email address of a contact person. So will you be sending them some logins, passwords, so that they could start registering their schools in the system? Is that correct?
That is good. Just wait until our team has made that correction on the password.
Yeah.
And so once that is resolved, and I would send out the instruction to those schools that Mr. Vladimir sent me.
Sounds
so
good.
Just putting, you know, on hold until that is resolved. That would make things simple. Before we go, I like to, there was something that I want to all the staff to know. With the paper PACES, there is only one test and one test only. But in the EPACE, every time the student generate a self-test and a PACE test, every test is different, because we ask, you know, this, it may be the same question, but it's asking a different answer. They're looking for different answers. So if you're going to compare the paper test and the EPACE test, you'll find why it's different. Every time it's to be different. The self-test and the PACE test, we have generate a alternate test into the systems.
That sounds very good.
Okay, yeah, can you believe it? So it will not be the same test for every student.
Yes, this is one thing that we wanted for so many years, finally.
It'll
Well,
get breakthrough. There'll be no copying from other students because the test will be a little bit different. Yeah, this is awesome.
yes.
Yeah, this is really awesome.
In fact, I think I can say I don't want to do it, but I think you can put two students taking the same EPace test. You can put them all together, and they would not able to say, "What is that?" Don't do it. Don't do it.
Mr. Lee, and what would happen if the student fails the test?
If the what?
If the student fails the test?
You have to
That's not good. That means if a student failed the test, the student have to pay for a new EPace. There is no way. So because that AC want to validate the test, and so the student has to repeat the pace.
Okay.
So
he has to repeat the whole pace, not just checkups.
that is correct. That is.
But Miss Tatiana, you always have the paperback test. Just in case. Yes. All right. Okay. I'm sure there will be more questions, so please write those questions, put them down. So then we'll finish with this, that with all this information being available, we are all patiently waiting for the login password problem to be resolved, okay, with your software team, Mr. Lee. And then as soon as it is resolved, all of you who sent an application and with Mr. Vladimir sending this information to Mr. Lee, you will be getting the login and password, and you will be able to register your schools. Also, Mr. Lee has very nice, concise information on how things are to be done for registration. So this information will be sent, and then you will be able to send maybe some questions to Mr. Lee, or Mr. Lee will be a part of this process as well, because Mrs. Helen, and Mrs. Netler, they're very knowledgeable now,
Yes.
and they will be able also to answer some questions in case they arise. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you, Ms. Netler.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Helen, yeah, great job. Thank you, everybody from Russia, the Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Estonia, and I'm not sure if Belarus is here today, maybe not, but yeah, we're very happy to see everybody, lots of people. And Mr. Lee, would you please close us in prayer so that God would just bless us in this new endeavor?
Well, thank you so very much, and thank you for those schools that are, waiting for to register the EPace. Thank you for your patience, and we're working very diligently. In fact, I'm getting ready to contact the team that are working on our server and see where they are. So, all right, let's have a word of prayer. Let's pray. Father God, we thank you so very much for Christian education. Thank you for Mr. Lin and his leadership there. Thank you for ACE. Thank you for the vision that you given ACE to develop the EPace, the digitized version of the PACES, and so to get into the hands of the students. We thank you for so many schools that are represented in the meeting this morning. We ask your hand upon them, help the staff, help the administrator, and to know what to do and to able to be a blessing and impact on the lives of the students. Once again, thank you for the technology that you allow us to have these days, able to even have this meeting and able to help our young people to grow and to build their lives. And we'll give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you, everybody. Okay, we are very happy again for this opportunity, and more information will be coming in our video messages and text messages So please keep tuned, and otherwise, God bless you and have a nice day, evening,
You
whatever
too.
it is.
And night, because it's already night in Vladivostok.
Yes, you guys have a great evening and good night.
Yes. Okay.
I'm just getting up. I haven't had my coffee yet.
Oh, Stoli, that's a shame. That's
To
a shame.
whom I wrote the email. So as Mr. Lee was sleeping, to whom I was writing emails.
Don't worry. The first things I came out of my office and I would open the email and answer the email as soon as possible. So just don't worry. Just be patient with me, and I'll get that to you.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Hey.
will remind you that this session was recorded. As soon as it gets converted, we'll send a copy to everybody so that you can have a backup of this information. Okay. God bless you. Okay. And I'm finishing this conference.
Yeah.
Okay. Goodbye.